Good evening, everybody. We're just waiting for the time to begin. So we will be starting in the next minute or two. Please enjoy yourselves. If you do have any questions, you can type it into the comments, but we will be starting shortly. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to our webinar, and thank you for joining us this evening. Today's webinar is titled All About the GED, which means we are going to tell you everything that you need to know about the GED. My name is Sean Swartz. I'm the CEO of SK Education Solutions. We are the official international GED tutoring program, the home of it, called GED Complete. We are live on YouTube, and we have made the comments facility available for you to type in your questions. Please feel free to type your questions in the comments facility. We will be monitoring these questions, and we will try our best to ensure that our expert panelists answer your question. So sit back and enjoy. A very special welcome to all of our prospective GED students and parents. The GED testing program in general makes it possible to earn the equivalent of a secondary school leaving certificate. It was created in 1942, and today more than 20 million people have passed the GED test. But I'm not going to say too much because I'm going to let our experts talk about the GED. We have a few very special guests with us today. Our first guest is Ben. Ben is an international business development manager for the GED. He has been engaged in the foreign education industry for more than 25 years. He is passionate about education and has been working with the GED for the last 6 years. He lives in Bangkok in Thailand, and joining Ben as well is one of our GED graduates. His name is Rain, but we'll get to Rain in a few minutes. To begin with, Ben, I'll pass it over to you just to give an introduction and explain what the GED is all about.
Thank you very much, Sean. It's my pleasure to be here with all of you, and thanks for having me. Yes, so as Sean mentioned, GED is actually the credential. So to make it short, GED stands for General Education Development. It was actually initiated in the US in the year of 1942. And since then, GED has emerged throughout those period of years. At the moment, more than 20 million GED graduates have been successfully credentialed. And GED has been accepted in more than 90 countries worldwide. So that's the initial introduction about GED. And the reasons why GED has been well accepted. The first one is because it is an internationally accepted credential. So just what I mentioned just now, 90 countries across the world has been accepted. And since it's originated from the US, so 95 to 98% of institutions in US also accepting, and that's equivalent to about 3,000 institutions, whether they are colleges or universities. Secondly, it's quite very convenient to go and find the nearby test center. It is because GED is working with our sister company, which is Pearson Assessment. And Pearson Assessment is one of the biggest assessment company in the world. So we have the test centers across the globe. Just only for international, excluding US, we have about 400 test centers worldwide. So you can go to the nearby test center at your desired date and time, and you can schedule that easily by yourself online. And in addition to this, our GED credential, of course, has been academically aligned with that of the US standard. And, this is a world class. So I can say that after the COVID, which everything in the world had been paused for a while because of the pandemic, now GED again gained the interest, and we have seen a lot more of the test takers coming to the test. So this is just to give you the brief about GED in terms of their benefit and the reason that they have been accepted worldwide with more, favorably across the world. Sean, thank you.
Thank you, Ben. I think just to add to what you said before we continue, just so everyone understands, the GED comprises of 4 exams. They are English, mathematics, science, and social studies. And the science exam comprises of physical sciences, life sciences, as well as earth and space sciences. And then the social studies comprises of history, geography, and economics. So I think it's an all-rounded offering that the GED provides. All the students get to learn a lot of different subjects. They all write the same exam, as you said. And I think a very big component of learning the GED is the fact that it's designed for the future. It teaches critical thinking skills. If students try to learn things off by heart, it's not going to work for you. You have to learn how to think and how to analyze in order to be able to do the GED. So it really does prepare you for the future. Lindsay, I see you've also come online. Is there anything else you want to add relating to the GED? And Ben, anything else before we move on to Rain?
Thanks, Sean. I think one of the benefits of the GED is its flexibility in terms of students can also study one subject at a time, test on that subject, and then move on to the next subject. So you can really focus on one subject at a time. And in terms of the flexibility also is there's no set start and end date. You can start when you're ready and end when you're ready. So you're not restricted to set exam periods, be it once or twice a year. You can test throughout the year.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And just one thing to add, because I got some question asked that, hey, if I'm in Asia and then the credential that I obtained here, is it the same with that in the States? The yes, and the answer is yes. So that is equally accepted. You got it here in Asia, in Africa, in Europe. You apply to your desired university in the US. They treat it as the same as that you obtained in the States. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think that's what we love about it, and that's what gives a GED its international recognition, is that it is the same test written around the world, which also gives it its credibility, because the tests are set and assessed, and everything is done through the US, and obviously it's been accredited in the US, so we know it's a credible qualification. We know it's a worldwide and a world recognized qualification.
Yeah, and it's become really, really popular worldwide, and for all the benefits that you've spoken about, Lindsay. I mean, I think I was really rude that I didn't even introduce you before you started speaking. So let me just introduce Lindsay very quickly before we continue. She will be speaking a little bit later. Lindsay has been involved with the GED for more than 8 years. First, with us at GED Africa, and more recently as the International Senior Program Manager with GED Testing Service in the US. Lindsay specializes in international qualifications as well as international testing bodies. She's very passionate about education and believes that education changes lives for the better. So please, if you do have any questions, please just type them into the comments facility. We will answer them shortly. But right now, I would like to ask Rain to join us. Rain, please, would you mind just introducing yourself? You are a GED graduate, and we would like to welcome you to our webinar. We know you're feeling a little bit under the weather. You're not feeling great at the moment. So thank you very much for still making the effort to join us. So as a start, would you mind just introducing yourself?
Hello everyone, my name is Pomimo and people call me Rain. I'm a GED graduate and currently I'm studying at mechatronic engineering at the Assumption University in Thailand.
Wow, so you're studying at you're studying a university course in Thailand at the moment. Tell me, how did you hear about the GED? Where did you hear about it from?
At the time, I was in the South after finish my high school in Myanmar, and then one of my teacher told me about the GED, and he said if I have the GED, I have the chance to study at the international university. So that's why I decided to study GED.
So without the GED, you wouldn't have had the opportunity to study at that university.
If I have the GED, I think I have more chance to study at the international university.
Okay.
At the time, I finished my high school in Myanmar, but I think with that certificate, I could have studied maybe I applied Sunny University, but they said that they didn't recognize the certificate I had. So I tried to search in the internet, and then GED has a more potential than my certificate. So that's why I choose.
So for any student that is living in Myanmar and looking to study internationally, you would suggest the GED as an alternative. Is that correct?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. And tell us about it. How did you find the GED? How long did it take you to do it? Did you find it difficult?
At first, as soon as I start studying GED, I didn't have the teacher. At the time there was only a few people who know the GED well, so I didn't have the people who share information and strategy to me, and I was on my own and I study by using the internet, website, YouTube. I try to watch the lesson on the YouTube, and at the time I studying GED in 2022, I think in February. And then I decided to study mathematics at the time. I'm not going to study all subjects because I think if I study all the subjects, I think a little bit complicated. So that's why I choose one subject at a time. And I study regularly, and then I finished my first subject about after 1 month. Because GED mathematics is not so complicated to me. I don't know about the other student, but to me it's not too complicated. But studying regularly make me more better like that. I think after 6 months, I finished all my subject. Only I think it took about six months to finish all the GED subject.
Okay. And tell us, which one do you think was the hardest subject for you?
I think for me, the harder is the language art, reasoning language art, because it had a lot of reading comprehension, and then I have to read a lot English, like English novel, English story, a lot of English. For other subject like mathematics, social study, science, it's a little bit easier than the language, I think.
Okay, and going to the testing center in Myanmar, it wasn't a problem. It was easy to book to go and write.
At the time, I was taking the GED in Mesa, that is situated in Thailand.
Okay.
Thailand at the time,
Okay.
and I think I had to go there by my own, and at the time I didn't have like other identification. I only have the passport, so they welcome warmly, and I think I did have the great time at the center.
Wow, that sounds really good. And well done to you for taking the initiative to find the GED and to study with it and to write the exam. Now, you mentioned that it was really difficult initially because there was no teachers or schools, or you didn't know how to find the studies. I mean, one of the things that we do offer now, which is a huge advantage, is the online studying using GED Complete, which Lindsay will be speaking about in a few minutes. But just from your perspective, having been through the GED, would you be happy to give our listeners just some tips and tricks that you would recommend for the GED?
When I study GED, the only strategy I use is study regularly. So I mean, like some other like student, they study 1 hour, 2 hour a day, and then they stop, and then they study again. So I mean, we have to study regularly. So if you study like in the Monday, 3 hour, and then you start on the Tuesday, or maybe you study again on the other day. So that doesn't make any sense, right? So the only thing I recommend you is to study regularly, and you have to rely on the internet. The only thing I have that time, the internet, and then I go search in the YouTube that how to study GED and how to pass the social study. So like it's curiosity, like you need to have the curiosity to pass the exam. So and one more thing is like you need to know you need to find the other experience. So for me, I asked the other GED graduate the how they did in the exam, and how the exam felt like, and then how they passed the exam. So I got their experience, and then uh I began to know what's wrong with them, and what was their mistake. So I became better and better. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really interesting. So I think from what you're saying, I think there's really two very important points that come out. The first one is be able to have people that you can ask questions to and get feedback and all of that type of thing. And so these days, when you did it, it was a little bit different. But now we have a Facebook group that is designed specifically for that, where you can ask any question you want. You want to know how long the GED should take, who can help you, do you have any questions specifically? We have a Facebook group, so we would highly recommend that everybody join the Facebook group. I have just put it in the chat facility, so I would recommend that you all follow and join that Facebook group. We have thousands and thousands of people already following that group from all over the world, so it's a great group to join. And I think the second thing that comes out of what you've said, which is incredibly important, and that is to practice. You have to practice. You have to practice the questions. All the questions in all the 4 tests are all multiple choice. Multiple choice questions, you need to practice them. If you don't practice them, you're not going to know what the exam is going to be like when you go and sit down to write the final exam. Now, all of the questions are multiple choice in all 4 exams, except for one question. So there is one question which is an essay type of question. It's an extended response question that you have to write. It's an argumentative essay. But besides that, everything is multiple choice. And I think a big part of it, which is really interesting, and that is the practice test, the official GED ready practice test. And those ready practice tests should be written, or need to be written actually, and you need to pass them before you can book to write the final exam. And those practice tests are relatively cheap, and they help you identify if you're actually ready to write the final exam or not. How did you find those practice tests?
Yeah, it's great. It was great. With them, I had a lot of like I began to know more about the GED, and I was better at some subject like that.
Yes. So it helps with practice. It helps with
Yeah.
practice. It's very good. And I think one thing, just to remind everybody, a lot of people get confused with this, and that is in the maths test, you are not allowed to bring a calculator into the exam center. You get access to a calculator online during the test, but a lot of people ask us and say, we heard you can bring a calculator. Which one must we buy so that we can bring it? So don't buy a calculator. You cannot take the calculator into the exam. Yeah, so Rain, thank you. Is there anything else you want to add or suggest to all the students out there?
No.
Okay. All right. So thank you so much. I really think that it's a great thing that you've done. I really congratulate you for having done the GED and for studying further. So just keep up your studies, and hopefully you'll be graduating soon and doing well in the work world. So well done to you for that. The next thing that we are going to want to do is just to discuss our offering. So we have an offering. It's an online offering called GED Complete Express. And GED Complete Express can help students like Rain when they were ready to start studying their GED. And it can help you if you haven't done the GED exams to prepare for the exam and to ensure that you're ready to write the exams and to pass the exams. And Lindsay is going to talk more about GED Complete.
Thanks, Sean. Definitely. And I think what makes the GED really good in terms of future life preparation is the critical thinking skills that it teaches students. And when we talk about critical thinking skills, what we're talking about is that you need to first understand the knowledge of what is taught within the GED curriculum, and then apply that knowledge to various situations. So you're not just taking the learning material, studying it, and going into the test and repeating what you studied. It's really applying that knowledge. One way we describe it is thinking out of the box. And that is really great preparation for future life situations. And we find students that do the GED do very well at further education studies, be it university or even when they enter the working world, is because they can take a piece of information, understand it, and then apply it in various situations. Now, those critical thinking skills don't just happen in your brain. It is a skill that you need to develop like any other skill. And as Rain said, there hasn't been a program internationally that fully prepares a student for the GED test, regardless of where they are in the world, because one of the benefits of the GED is that it is offered around the world. So the official GED online tutoring program is GED Complete. But within GED Complete, we've also recently launched GED Complete Express. And the Express option gives you the flexibility to control how long you study for and prepare for the tests. So what it means is that you can choose whether you want to study the for your GED test and finish it in 4, 6, 8, or 10 months. But when you register and choose how long you want to prepare for the test, so by choosing whether you do 6 months or 10 months, so your customized study schedule is adjusted to meet that time frame. So what does it include? It includes an Essential Ed GED license. Essential Ed is GED aligned, so the GED's evaluated the learning resources and put their stamp of approval on it. And the Essential Ed learning program, it actually is a customized learning plan. So what it is when you start, you do an initial assessment, and then it customizes your study material to your level and requirements. Meaning if you are stronger in maths, but you struggle with English, so it will automatically understand that and build up your English level to a level needed to pass the GED. So if you need additional lessons for English to fully prepare, it will automatically allocate those to you. It's also interactive learning. It's fun learning. It puts you in a virtual classroom with other students, so you're not feeling alone. Now, the Essential Ed GED Academy gives you that knowledge I spoke about. But how do you acquire those skills? Those skills and how those skills work and are applied, those critical thinking skills, are covered in the 40 pre-recorded lessons. So there's a specialist tutor that delivers pre-recorded lessons to you that specifically focus on the skills you need linked into your Essential Ed online learning resources. Now, what makes this program unique is it's also you are monitored daily by an artificial intelligence engine that monitors and tracks your progress, how often you study. So if you are not studying sufficiently according to the time schedule that you selected, a tutor will flag it and they will contact you and go, hey, what's happening? So it's great for keeping you on track. The AI can also detect if there's certain concepts that you are struggling with, and it'll flag it. Now, if you are just not getting a concept, if you are struggling with the extended response essay, you have the option of setting up a private online lesson with the tutor who recorded the lessons at a very reasonable additional cost. So really what the offering gives you is it gives you personalized study plans that cover all the knowledge and skills needed to pass your test. And I think what's great about it is all you need is internet access. So you can 100% prepare for your GED with just internet access and a computer, and all your preparation is covered, from your online learning resources to staying on track with your study plan, to your pre-recorded lessons where you cover the skills, and you know you've got the backup that if you need additional support, you can book a private lesson with the tutor who, when you have your lesson, that tutor will already know exactly where you are in your studies, the specific areas and topics that you're struggling with, so they can really zone or hone in on those skills, so that it's a very specialized and very focused lesson. So it's a really great offering, and it doesn't matter where you are in the world, what time zone you're on, because it's online. You can just start straight away and go ahead. Yeah.
Thanks, Lindsay. So I think just to summarize and also just cover the cost involved. The cost is $300 for the GED Complete Express offering, and that's a once-off fee, once-off payment that is valid for 12 months. So you get access to everything that Lindsay has spoken to you about for a full 12-month period. And you can see I've shared the link in the chat, but you can see here you simply go to GED.com and then you say /GED complete, and it will come up with this page over here. You can see it just says that GED Complete is the official international GED tutoring program. It talks about GED Complete as well as GED Complete Express, and then it shows you the benefit of both GED Complete as well as GED Complete Express. The normal price is $350, but there is currently a $50 discount. So it's currently $300 as a one-time payment. And as Lindsay said, you get the learning material. You can choose which timetable you want. You get access for 12 months. You get an additional 40 pre-recorded lessons. You get your weekly study schedule of what you need to do to ensure that you keep up to date. Everything is monitored by our specialized AI tool. And if you need extra lessons over and above that, you can always just book an extra lesson at a very reasonable fee, as Lindsay said. So if I can just ask Rain and Marissa just to, Rain and Ben to just switch on their videos, and let's just jump into some questions that we have received. So I've actually received questions by email, and I've also received some questions on the chat. So let's just start off with the chat. I've got a question from David. He says that he is a high school student in Hong Kong. He wants to go to get tutoring for the GED in the future. And he wants to know, is there any tutoring available in East Asia? So I think to start, maybe Lindsay, do you want to just talk about GED Complete and explain that it's online, etc., and then maybe Ben can explain about the testing centers.
Sure, yeah. So there's multiple ways, David, that you can prepare for the GED, whether you study online, and GED Complete Express is a good option. Or you can go into a prep partner and study face-to-face. It really depends on your preference and learning style. I think, Ben, do you want to talk on going to a prep partner?
Sure. Thank you. So actually for East Asia, since you're based in Hong Kong, we don't have what we call the authorized test prep partners there. I think the nearest country that we have is in Korea, and they both are in Seoul. For your easy information that you can look for, you can check from our website. So you can go to ged.com/en, and then you can look for where to learn, and then you can have all the lists, will be provided. So you can decide on which country that is most convenient for you. I think for your case, maybe online, which is GED Express, is more suitable because you can study that anytime by yourself. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Thank you, Ben. We have another question from Mang. Mang says, do you have a test center in India?
Absolutely. Yes, sorry. Yeah, absolutely we do, Sean. And again, Mang, you can search going to ged.com/en and then click upon the drill down where to go for the test, and all will be listed for you. We have across India. Yes.
Yeah,
okay,
Ben, you're right. We actually have quite a few test centers in India. So you actually have multiple options on where to go test.
Yes, so Mang, you're in luck. You can prepare online with us using GED Complete or GED Complete Express. And when you are ready to go write the exams, there are multiple venues in India where you can go. So another question that I received is, do I have to do all the exams at the same time? And what do I need to pass?
All right. So to answer the first question, no need for you, and I won't recommend as well. I used to talk with the students. I think maximum, for one day that they have done for testing is about 2 subjects, and still that's a lot. So I would suggest you to plan one by one, select the date that you are comfortable and to your desired test center. Maybe it's not that too far from you. But of course, as Ren mentioned, I like what he said. His recommendation is practice and practice. And as Sean mentioned as well, you need to practice. So my recommendation is that to let you to have better confirmation and the feeling of confidence, I would suggest you to go for GED Ready, which is also available over Marketplace. GED Ready is designed by us, GED, so it's a mock-up test. And the cost is just about $6. You go and do the test by yourself, and you'll be given, 2 results, likely or unlikely to pass. If you are likely to pass, you can go with the confidence. But if you are not unlikely to pass, they will tell you the area of learning that you got to review again. And of course, you can look for GED Complete or GED Complete Express to help you to prepare for that. Thank you.
And I think jumping onto what Ben said is the GED Ready practice test, and we've all spoken about it quite a lot. It's the official practice test of the GED. So it is half the length of the test, and it is designed by the same experts who designed the actual GED final test. So it really is a true reflection of the test. And when you go and do the GED Ready practice test, and you can do it at home, online, we always recommend you try and do it as a test. So you try and do it in test situation, because then it'll give you the most accurate score. And we recommend that you do the GED Ready practice test about 2 weeks before your final test, because you want to do it close to your final test so that the knowledge you've got, you keep it. The practice test is also great because it gives you areas of where you need to focus on to improve your skills. But more importantly, it gives you an indication of whether you are likely to pass the final test or not. So it's a great practice tool, and it gives you the confidence. If say, for example, you score 155 out of 200 in your practice test, you can go into your final test with the confidence to know that you've got the skills, you're ready to write, and you should pass your test.
Yeah, that's very good advice. Just by the way, everybody, please feel free to type your questions into the comments facility. We are busy taking questions, so now is the time. Another question from, I'm not sure how to pronounce, I think it's Mwe. From Mwe, the question is, will I be able to get a full scholarship at an international school if I just have my GED diploma?
Let me answer this question. I got this question from time to time. My suggestion is you can check with your institution that you are going to apply for. If you are based in Thailand, I mean, judging for your name, which sounds like Thai or Chinese, you got some kind of universities here that offering, and now it's quite easy that you can search it online. My suggestion is if you find that this university is offering the scholarship, you can further contact the admission officers for that. So GED is not guaranteed that you will get scholarship, but of course, a lot of courses here, a lot of both public and private universities across the world, especially in Asia, they got this scholarship program. Check over the website and then recheck with the admission officers to confirm that.
Okay, great. Another question is, what happens if I don't pass the exam the first time? Am I allowed to just go and rewrite it again? And do I need to pay to rewrite it again?
Sure. So if you don't pass it, so you can take it again. And of course, you're required to pay with the full amount. And we allow you to do that for other 2 times, meaning that you can do it 3 times consecutively. And still, by whatsoever reason, if you cannot still pass it for the 3rd attempt, we would encourage you to spend the time to review the books, to go to studies for 2 months. Then after that period, you are allowed to go for the test again.
That's great. Thank you. So I just wanted to say something regarding the GED, and just it's quite a new feature that came out. So I just want to mention it, and that is, I'm sure everyone knows about badges that you get. You can earn digital badges for many different things at colleges and schools and universities. And so now what's really exciting, it's been around for the US market for quite a while, but we've now launched it for the international market. And that is, when you've passed all 4 GED exams, you will be receiving a official Credly GED badge, which you can put onto your LinkedIn profile for to show off and to apply for a job and everything else. So I really think it's quite an exciting new feature that we received. Rain, have you received your Credly badge?
Yeah, I already received it.
Okay, and all right, good. I'm glad you did. Tell me, how did the GED exams prepare you for university studies? Did you find that it was that once you arrived at university that you could cope, and that your thinking skills were developed enough?
I think the skill in the GED, like, I think because of that I have a knack, because when I first arrived in the university, I have to take the pre-test. They call it placement test, like mathematics and science. So because I study GED, I did pretty well in the exam, the intra exam. And right now the university, like, they have like a lot of other critical thinking section, and when you study at that section, we have to think a lot. When I was studying in the GED, I think a lot. I was thinking a lot, like how this happen in the future, like that. So I think because of GED, I has a lot of advantages in the university.
Okay, that's really good to hear. It's very important, I think. I've got another question from David. He says, and maybe Lindsay, you may have experience in this as well. Will studying TOEFL at the same time help improve my GED scores?
So it's not necessarily required, but it will help you in terms of your English skills. Obviously the GED is very reliant on English skills, particularly for the RLA test. So the RLA is reasoning through language arts, what most of us commonly know as English. But within the RLA test is you have an extended response essay, meaning it's an argumentative essay. So that is you are given two opinions, and you need to assess which one is the strongest opinion and write an essay arguing your reasoning of which one is the strongest. So I always say to people, think of two lawyers. They need to argue their cases. And in the extended response essay, you can almost think of yourself as a lawyer needing to argue both sides. And for that, obviously, you need strong English skills. So while it's not required and the express preparation does prepare you sufficiently, it will always benefit you.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point. And I think to add to that, often if English is not your first language and you're applying to university, then it is a good extra thing to have for your application. I have another question. Is the GED recognized in all the countries? Ben, maybe you want to talk about the recognition of the GED in Asia?
Sure, absolutely, Sean. We have been accepted in more than 90 countries over the world. So I think numbers of countries that we have, across the world, maybe like 200 something. So it's not all by the numbers, that's a fact, right? But I could say that normally, for the medium and big size of the countries and, the countries that people would like to go for further education, and we have a lot of acceptance. Yeah.
And I think just to remind people, you don't only have to study at a university in your own country. You can also study online. There are really, really good online universities that accept GED graduates as well, where you can get all different types of degrees. So there are lots of different options out there for students to consider. I see there's another question that's come in from where, and that is, it's quite an interesting question. Is there a chance that the GED question types will be changed next year? That's the first part. I'm assuming is the test going to change next year?
No, the test isn't changing next year. So the test that is currently being written is called the 2014 test. It was released in the US in 2014, and internationally, I think it was released 2017. That is the most up-to-date test. That test has been evaluated by ACE and is equivalent to a high school diploma, which prepares you for university. There's no plans for an upgrade in the near future. So definitely not.
Okay, so that means that if I write one exam this year, one exam next year, and another exam the following year, it will be fine at the moment, as long as the exams don't change. But at the moment, as you say, there's no plan, so you're good to go.
Correct. It's a very long process to update any curriculum, because it has to go through all the levels of review, evaluation. So it's never a curriculum's going to just change overnight. It's a few years worth of things that have to come into play before anything can change.
Okay. Here's a part two of Moe's question. It's actually a very interesting one, and I think I'd like Rain, Ben, and Lindsay, all three of you, to give a go at trying to answer this question, giving your own tips. And that is, the question is, do you have any tips for me to get full marks in my exam that I'm taking next month?
I would.
Yeah, please, Lindsay. I'm gonna
I
ask
would say practice, practice, practice.
Okay, so Lindsay says practice. Rain, what do you say? How does he get full marks in his exam next month?
There was a suggestion. In mathematics, for me, I got like 185, but this is really, really high. Because I think I took the GED ready test before the real test. So I think I took 2 times because I wanna like get the real experience in the real test center. So I highly recommend the GED ready to make you like more better.
Wow, I love that. You got pretty high score, Ran.
Yeah.
That's really high. Yeah. So I agree with both of them. I agree with Lindsay for practice, practice, practice. And with Ran for, of course, GD ready, 2 GD readies, right? And one other thing, just for me, just set up your goal that you're going to pass it. You tell yourself you're going to pass it, and you put a lot of effort on that. You will be tired from time to time, no doubt about that, but just focus on that. You know, you're gonna pass it and spend your time so that, and you're gonna be successful on that. Thanks.
And to add my final tip to that, and I'm going to repeat what Rain said right at the beginning, and that is to be consistent. Study every day, study a certain amount every day, be consistent, focus, work hard, practice, do the GED ready. Don't go and write the exam until the GED ready tells you that you are very highly likely to pass, and then go and write it. Study one subject at a time. Don't study more than that. Focus on one, write it, pass it, do well in it, and then move on to the next exam.
Wonderful.
So, Ben, if I can ask you just for some closing comments from your side.
Yeah, so thanks for that, Sean. And just to add with one thing, Sean, after you have done that for your study, reward yourself with something that you deserve for that. Maybe go for ice cream.
Absolutely.
Yeah, go for ice cream, you know,
Good.
chocolate or whatsoever, the things that you like it. And when you do that, you know, you keep remind yourself, hey, I can do that, and this is a reward. Starting from something small, and then, you know, in your working life as well, you're gonna happy with that. Because by doing that, you are respecting yourself, and that's gonna be the discipline that you are going to, you know, to create. So thanks for this. I just want to thanks all of you, and just to, you know, simply close it, I would love to say discipline. This is the word. Just go for that, keep doing consistently. And I mean, this is life. You may not be happy every day. You cannot sustain every day for the level, but do not give up. Have the discipline with that. And then, you know, think about if you're going to be successful, what's going to be happy, what's going to be happen for you. You're not only one in your family that's going to be happy. Your parents, your siblings, all those ones going to be happy with you. So think about that and just do it. So be disciplined. That's from me, Sean.
Ben, thank you. And next time, Ben, next time I'm in Bangkok, I'm joining you for some ice cream.
I would love
Rain, thank you so much for all your input and agreeing to just tell us about your GED journey, and good luck with your university studies. Really want to thank you so much for everything that you gave of your time, and we hope that you feel better very soon. I also want to thank Marissa. She's in the background doing all the marketing and all the work. Thank you, Marissa, for everything that you did, making sure that this webinar was successful. And Lindsay, thank you to you as well for all your inputs and expertise. And to our audience, thank you for joining us. We hope you learned something. We are going to send out a recording by email to everybody that did register, so you'll be able to come back and watch this webinar. Please tell your friends about the webinar. Send it to them if you feel that it can help them as well. And look out for more webinars. We are going to be running additional webinars in the future. So have a wonderful evening, everybody. Thank you for attending, and we'll see you soon. Great. Okay.